Good afternoon guys from Birmingham, where today I am heading down to the seaside on the coach, and it's a place that I have never ever been to before, Bournemouth on the south coast, and the journey time is going to be around about 4 hours and 45 minutes. I'll tell you what, it might take a lot longer than the train, but it's cheaper than the train, considerably cheaper, and because of that I've been able to splurge an extra £2.50 on reserving a seat, and guess which one it is? That's right, it's seat number 2A. And I'll tell you what, the weather today is fantastic, so I'm expecting a really nice, relaxing, chilled out trip with some fantastic views on the way. But why don't you come with me? I'm going to head down to the coach station now, see what's going on, and I will catch you on the coach. Yes, for regulars on my channel, this video is the prequel, if you like, to my Purbeck Breezer and Guernsey ferry trips, which I've already released. I'll link to them both right at the end. It's about a 10-minute walk to Birmingham Coach Station from New Street Railway Station. A lovely day for it as we pass the interesting Digbeth Police Station here, where for some reason I expected them to come rushing out to arrest the Deliveroo worker here for riding on the pavement. Yeah, probably got bigger fish to fry, to be honest. Anyway, outside we have the tram lines of the West Midlands Metro and its East Side extension, still under construction here when I was there in early June 2024. Now, I've reviewed the facilities at Birmingham Coach Station before, but needless to say, there is everything you need for your travels: food, drink, ticket buying facilities, seating, chargeable toilets, the works. Now, entering through the automatic doors here, I was immediately spotted by the resident security guard, who gave me a warning. I've just come outside to sit down for a minute. I'll tell you what, I went inside the coach station and a security guard came up to me and he was like, you know, just be careful, don't go pointing your camera into people's faces in here because they're going to kick off. And yeah, there's just a funny kind of atmosphere. I almost feel a little bit on edge. I've never felt like that before at a coach station or on many of my trips, to be honest. But yeah, it just seems to me like there's a few dodgy characters around, and you know, the smell of weed outside, and yeah, I'm gonna have to be a bit covert, to be honest, and yeah, I'll get something to eat. I'm gonna be looking forward to getting on the coach, I think. I mean, I don't go around pointing my camera in people's faces anyway, for that exact reason. The security guard, to be fair, was pretty relaxed about it, and yeah, he could have been quite arsey, but he wasn't at all. I mean, at the end of the day, I thought he did his job really well, and yeah, it was a reminder to me that filming in public places is just not something to be blasé about. I need to consider my surroundings carefully, and yeah, pick my moments, I guess. Anyway, I found a quieter part of the concourse to just sit and try not to upset anybody whilst I waited for the coach. Now, it was still quite early, but yeah, I was at this stage pretty keen to get on board. And it was from Bay 14 today that we would be departing from the NX 160 service, originating in Birmingham and leaving at 1400 hours, BU 18 OTF, a 6-year-old Scania K410 EB6 Catalo Levant 3, operated by H. Luckett & Co., Broadcut, Wallington in Fareham, Hampshire. Alright.
Hello.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. First impressions of the coach were, well, up to the usual National Express standard in terms of cleanliness, really good. Oh, and the driver gave a friendly greeting as he checked tickets as well. Now, as I said before, 2A was my seat, which, if you don't already know by now, is the optimum seat to have on these coaches. Well worth the extra money if you're travelling long distance, and yeah, especially on an overnighter, because as you can see here, you have absolutely unlimited legroom right in front of you. Now, approximately 5 minutes before departure, the driver gave a safety briefing. Then, inevitably, people turned up with literally 2 minutes to spare. And then he sat down at the wheel, and then somebody else turned up. Well, that made us a little bit late reversing off stand. I didn't realise this, but there's a traffic management system in operation here, which is basically the traffic lights at each bay. Now, once it had turned green, we were safe to reverse, and the gates opened. A couple of taxis had to move out of the way, and this always happens here for some reason. And then we could begin fighting our way through the streets of Birmingham. A bit of a chaotic start, to be honest, and traffic was built up on the A435 all the way through King's Heath, and on a Sunday too. I was quite surprised, gotta say, but yeah, after that only the many sets of traffic lights hampered our progress through the suburbs of Birmingham and beyond. I was quite relieved to be getting out and on our way, to be honest, wondering if I'd ever be going back to the coach station here, but yeah, ultimately this is a major hub for National Express and lots of services either originate from there or call in along the way. And our service, the NX 160, was one of the former, so after leaving Birmingham we would then be calling at Oxford, Winchester, Southampton, Ringwood, wherever that is, and finally Bournemouth, with an estimated time of arrival of 1840. Well, as you can see, after about half an hour we've made it as far as the M42 and we're just heading east here onto the M40. Another fantastic day weather-wise, wasn't it? The motorways were pretty quiet, though there were some lorries on the road. Now I'm interested to know whether it's cheaper for haulage companies to use their vehicles on a Sunday or not. And if not, when is the most efficient and cost-effective time for them to be on the road? Middle of the night? I'm sure there are some of you guys out there with the relevant knowledge, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Now, seat-wise, yeah, usual National Express standard, but I tend to find them comfortable with sufficient height for your head, which I think is quite important. Now, retractable armrests in the aisle seats, a decent legroom as you can see here, with USB ports on the seat backs, although note for seats 2A and 2B, it's down by your legs. The seats do recline with this lever, as you can see here, and above your head there are individual reading lights and air vents. There are also curtains at the windows. Well, like I said, this is all very normal stuff for National Express, but yeah, bear in mind this may not be the case with certain other coach companies. Hopefully this video, and others I've made in the past, can help you to decide which one you would like to take on your particular journey. Now, it looks pretty empty, doesn't it, this coach, but I reckon we were about 65% full, if that. We turned off the M40 at junction 9, where the A34 took us south towards Oxford, and also where the A41 heads north to Bicester. I was much more relaxed at this point, and by the way, I'm thinking about getting an inflatable footrest for future trips in this seat. What do you think? Please leave me your recommendations in the comments below. And various other roads lead us into Oxford city centre, and I've been here a couple of times now, and yeah, it's featured on the channel before. You can see a lot from the coach, especially on a day like today, and yeah, it really is a beautiful city. Now, some of the buildings, the old colleges of course, are just fantastic, and also some of the bridges like this one over the Castle Mill stream that feeds into the River Thames a little bit further downstream. I'm not sure whether I'd want to drive around the city in a car myself. Probably too many cyclists to watch out for, but yeah, I'd rather be outside a pub like everybody else on a day like today. We arrived at the Gloucester Green bus and coach station at 15:47, 3 minutes ahead of schedule. And we pulled up near to one of the Oxford Tube buses, or coaches, over in Bay 13. Only about half a dozen people got off here, and I estimated about 10 people got on. We reversed off stand with the driver giving another safety brief, announcing the upcoming stops, and now this is useful, checking everyone was on the right coach and nobody had forgotten to get off at Oxford. Something told me this had probably happened before. And the driver was excellent, by the way, friendly, and he had a sense of humour, which must help, I'm sure, when doing this job sometimes. We left Oxford on the A4144, passing the head of the River Pub Hotel here, and the Folly Bridge that crosses the River Thames, a truly idyllic spot. And now on to somewhere else I'd never been to before, Winchester. Now, I tried out the coach tracker, which is available through the app, and yeah, you just click on your journey. All looked good, no issues on the road, and yeah, the only thing that had flagged up previously was some congestion around junction 11 of the M40 near to Banbury. I did wonder if there was some kind of Jeep show going on today. You do see some great vehicles from the coach sometimes, yeah, though it was probably a bit warmer outside than I was feeling inside at this point in the journey. And back to the A34, which scenery wise is not really the best because thick trees line the route on both sides for most of the way. Anyway, partly because of this, I decided to try out the toilet, located as per usual with National Express at the rear of the coach. Usefully, there was a toilet occupied indicator at the front of the coach, so I could choose an appropriate moment to go. It was clean, everything was available, liquid soap, toilet roll, yeah, everything worked, absolutely no problem at all. Now we turned off the A34 onto the A31, and then 5 minutes early at 17:10 we turned into some kind of practically deserted park and ride. And this was a bit of a shame really, as I was looking forward to seeing the centre of Winchester. Well anyway, a couple of people got off, and how can I put this politely, a rather noisy family got on. Predictably, Mum, well, after she'd finished swearing at her kids, she sat right behind me and continued berating her 3-year-old for no real reason I could see, until we emerged onto the M3. We were only about 11 miles out of Southampton at this point. I tried out the Wi-Fi, which was a bit of a mixed bag. It connected really quickly. Yeah, the usual 40 megabyte limit apparently. X loaded well, but yeah, YouTube videos wouldn't run. Not too bad overall, and yeah, useful in an emergency, but as usual I use my own data and a decent 4 or 5G signal. And the scenery inevitably improves again as we leave the motorway and enter Southampton. We pass the Southampton City Art Gallery here on our left, and then around the corner where we have the Sea City Museum and its unmistakable clock tower. Well, it reminds me a bit of a lighthouse really. Yeah, talking about scenery, what do you think is the most scenic National Express route in the country? Now be sure to leave me a comment below, because if I haven't done it, I'd love to give it a try. We arrived into the really tight Southampton Coach Station 4 minutes early. All 3 bays were occupied, but 1 coach left, so we were in Bay 2. And yeah, almost everybody got off here, apart from, you've guessed it, the really noisy family, who were now surrounding me with the rest of the clan taking up seats in front that had been vacated by other passengers. But at this point, we weren't going anywhere. Right then guys, so yeah, Southampton National Express Coach Station. And unfortunately, we were supposed to leave at 17:50, but we can't. The reason is that the driver that's taken us all the way down from Birmingham has come to the end of his shift, and we need to have a relief driver to take us the last hour or so down to Bournemouth. The relief driver hasn't turned up yet, and there's no way of contacting me because he's just coming up in his own car. So he could be here in a minute, it could be here in half an hour, not really sure. So it was all going so well as well, wasn't it? The sun's out, so yeah, we were supposed to get into Bournemouth at 18:40, so I'll give you an update a little bit later on, but at the moment we're not going anywhere. But as you can see here, he did turn up, only about 20 minutes late really, and we reversed off stand as soon as everybody had been reboarded and were accounted for. But it's starting to become a bit of a theme this on my coach journeys, and instead of leaving on time at 17:50, we actually left at 18:13, and it was all going so well. Anyway, every cloud and all that, because I did overhear that a certain group of passengers, a family group, were getting off at Ringwood, which was the penultimate stop on this trip, and that would at least give me some respite from the final leg. All I could say at this point was, roll on Ringwood. Some lovely scenery now as we make our way west down the A31, which kind of drives straight through the heart of the New Forest National Park. A beautiful part of the world this. I'd love to spend a bit more time here, to be honest. And it wasn't far to Ringwood, mercifully. The coach arriving at the bus station punctually to drop off half of the remaining passengers, leaving just myself and a few more as their screams faded off into the distance. Yeah, so Ringwood 18:42 it was when we got here. Yeah, it's just become a lot more peaceful. We've got about 11, 12 miles to go, something like that, to Bournemouth. I don't know, no, but we're going to be a little bit late, but obviously because of the situation before at Southampton. But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. So as we made our way towards Bournemouth on our final leg of the journey, let me tell you about costs. I booked this trip almost 2 months in advance, mainly to secure seat 2A, which, if for some reason, has become ever more popular recently. I can't imagine why. I paid £19.60, and that included the £2.50 for the seat reservation. Now, cheapest rail fares I could find were around £86 direct and £34 via London, but yeah, the latter is going to take you as long as the coach, and you've got the underground to negotiate too. Not great if, like many on this coach, you've got loads of luggage with you. So yeah, Birmingham to Bournemouth for less than 20 quid. You just cannot go wrong for that, can you? Passing one of the open-top Purbeck Breezer buses here, we arrived into Bournemouth at 18:58. Not too bad really overall. The bus and coach station is right opposite the fantastic Bournemouth railway station, and if you fancy McDonald's you may wish to try wandering around the multi-storey car park here for ages trying to find the entrance to Asda, and that's kind of where the fast food restaurant is situated. Anyway, I got my stuff together and disembarked the coach, just wandering up to the far end of the bays to take a minute to summarise the journey. Right guys, Bournemouth at 18:58, so we arrived here 18 minutes late in the end, which is not too bad, is it that? And what did you think? Well, not my best trip, not my worst. It's a funny old thing really, and Birmingham, you know what, it's a strange atmosphere at Birmingham today, and it didn't really get me off to the best of starts, to be honest. Once I was on the coach I was fine, and the coach itself, everything worked, and the driver was great. Unfortunately there was an issue by the time we got down to Southampton with the driver hours, I think it was, so we had to wait for the relief driver to arrive and then take us to that final couple of stops at Ringwood and Bournemouth. We got here in the end, and the weather's great, isn't it? So yeah, it's not my best trip, not my worst. It's probably a fair summary of that, and yeah, for the price you can't really complain too much, can you? But let me know in the comments below what you thought. As always, I appreciate your comments and value your opinions, so thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you on another adventure soon, and until then guys, cheers for now.